If you've seen my videos before, you know that I love NeuroWriter, and I am not a big fan of content at scale. So when I started to take a look at SurgeGraph, I was really interested to see whether this competed with those two. I'm going to take a dive in. I'd invite you to come with me, find out about this new AI tool that says it's going to help you write SEO optimized long form content, and let's see what we think. I'm Laura Bean, and this is Creative Little World. So SurgeGraph is one of these AI platforms that promises to write long form content for you. So I'm going to have a play today with trying a few blogs. Now, I just wanted to go over some of the comparisons that SurgeGraph has between Chat and GPT. Obviously, this is what they're saying. I don't know yet whether this is the case. So, key features, SEO capabilities. Now, ChatGPT definitely suffers by not having this capability. And this is where a lot of people are falling down with their blog posts because they're pulling content off Chat, not optimizing it for SEO because either they don't understand how to or it's just not on their radar. And it means that their blogs are not ranking in search engines. Whereas SurgeGraph is claiming that it has SEO capabilities. So I'm going to be interested to see that. Writing in human-like style. Again, if you've pulled anything off Chat, you can tell that it takes quite a lot of prompting to get it sounding in the right tone. So it's going to be interesting how SurgeGraph compares to that. And the ease of prompting on that note does take a lot of work to get what you want from Chat. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in SurgeGraph. Things like the word count. If you've ever written long form using ChatGPT, you quite often have to give it a prompt to tell it to continue, and you have to start with that. Tell it you want it to stop when it gets to a certain point, and you'll prompt it to continue. Otherwise, it will either write shorter content or it just won't fulfill your requirements. So let's take a look and see what SurgeGraph has to offer. Once you're in SurgeGraph, you'll end up with an interface like this. Now, there are lots of things you can do in here. It has areas for doing keyword research, planning for long-form content, bulk keyword research. I'm not going to go into all these tools today because I really want to focus on the content right at the side of this. But there's already lots of elements in here that will be helpful if you are looking to make more of a keyword plan and really look at the SEO optimization of your blogs. So let's start with writing long form content. Now, I want to start with the one-click generation and just see what this comes up with. So target keyword, set it to your location and your language, and then just pop in the keyword. So I'm going to put in content writer. Now, one-click generation, and it gives us some parameters to work within. So we can set how many words we want it to be. I'm going to start with just 1,500 to 2,500 words. Point of view. So when I write blogs, I do them in first person. Obviously, you need to write for however your tone is. So I'm going to go for first person. Now, how you want the conversation to be, the blog to be, conversational, funny. Think about the tone of voice that your business and brand are using and select that. So I'm going to go with conversational to start with. Next, we can adjust the creativity level and the readability level. So this is around thinking, if you are, say, like a tech company or somewhere where you might have lots of jargon, you can decide whether you want it to be at college grad level or fourth grade level, so you can help make it more simple. If it is more technical, you might want to make sure it is set to the college grad level. And the creativity, again, like how much artistic license are you going to give AI? So we all know that AI loves to hallucinate. So if you are writing something very factual, then I suggest you would move it down to be less creative. Or if you want to give it a bit of flair and artistic license, then you can move it up to be more creative. So for now, let's just stick in the middle ground. So you can either do a custom outline or you can get it to do all this for you. So for this one, we're just going to let it do everything. I'm going to tick subheadings because I do like subheadings throughout my blogs. Now it has other features on here, so you can auto-optimize, add custom terms and links. I think this is helpful really if you have set websites and things or other articles you want it to link to, and in external and internal links within a blog are really helpful for SEO. So do consider this if you are going to do that long term. I for now just going to leave that. We can get it to add a featured image. I'm going to tick this because I'm really interested to see what happens. And then add a meta description. Again, this is all going to be very helpful for when you're uploading to your website. And you can get it to export directly to WordPress. So if you have a WordPress site, it can put it straight into your post, which is pretty cool actually. But first, we're just going to see how this does on very basic level of implementation. Let's go. Okay, so it says to allow for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave that and come back to it in a moment. Okay, so it's now ready to go, and it didn't take 15 minutes. It took more along the lines of 5 or 6, so it's not really that bad. I know we want everything instantly, but that's pretty good, really. So, content writer, exploring types, roles, and strategies. Let's take a look. So it's given us an image, it's generated an image for us. Now, I do find AI images quite hilarious, especially with faces and hands. AI has just not mastered these yet. The background's quite nice, but this isn't the type of image I would use. But do you know what? That's fine. I like to source my own images, ones usually with people in it. So I'm not going to hold it against Surge for this, but not a big fan of that. So let's look at the optimization. If you've ever used Neuron Writer, this looks very similar to Neuron Writer, and it scores you on how well optimized your blog post is. Now, how it does that is it compares it with similar articles out there on the web. It gives you keywords and things to include in the article, which helps it optimize for SEO and be competitive with other content. And it does this for you automatically in Surge, so in SurgeGraph. So I think that's quite useful because I really love Neuron Writer. I do a review on this. I'll pop a link in the comments. And yeah, it's a good tool, and I've ranked a lot of blogs using it. So I like the fact that SurgeGraph has this. Obviously, I am not testing this on an SEO results right now because these blogs aren't live. So I can't tell you whether it works for SEO or not at this point in time, but I do love the fact that it's got this in, and I hold out some hope that the content is going to be well optimized. So let's have a look. Okay, let's start with obviously the fact that it's got a table of contents here. So this is all the headers and things. Now, I don't really know what's happened here. I don't like that. I would remove the introduction part. So that will lead me straight to say, make sure even when you're using tools like this with AI that do seem pretty comprehensive, that you are checking it still, because there will be the odd thing that will make it scream AI for a start, but also just won't be right. So make sure you do check your content first. So I'm going to have a quick read through this, and I'll point out anything along the way. Okay, so my first impressions of this is it's actually pretty good. I think the language it uses is quite conversational. It doesn't feel robotic. It's definitely got one up on ChatGPT for that. My first real sort of spot of not quite right is here, where it has used the US version of optimization. So I have asked it to use United Kingdom English, and I have set settings in this as well to say that I'm based in the UK. So it's a little bit disappointing that it still defaults to US language. And this happens, I haven't met an AI yet that doesn't do this. Even if ChatGPT, if you ask it to write in British English, I guarantee whether it's halfway through, it will suddenly default back to US spelling. So that needs to be picked up, because I see it in a lot of content. A lot of UK companies are not checking, and they're just putting Zs all over the place, and it stands out like a sore thumb. Well, it does for me. It probably doesn't for most people, but it's worth noting that. So it hasn't quite picked up on the fact that we've asked it for UK. Again, here it's used US spelling. So it's clearly not going to be hot on that. So all of you based in the UK, please do make sure you're checking. So I like how at the end here it's got the frequently asked questions. That's a really good way of getting some good questions that people are searching for into your blog post quite naturally. And it gives you opportunities. So here it mentions Upwork and Fiverr. So there would be opportunities for me to use external links. So I like how it's done that. Funny thing is, here it has spelled specialising in the UK version. So it's interesting how some words are making it through and some aren't, especially when just up here, the same word is in US spelling. So that is definitely a little bit of an alarm for me in that instance. But I have to say, overall, I'm quite impressed. And when I compare the content I was getting from Content at Scale, then this is a lot better. And anything I would pull of ChatGPT would have taken quite a lot of work to get to this standard. So I have to say, I am pretty impressed with it so far. So once you are happy with it, obviously you can edit it within here, and please do make sure you go through and check, remove anything that isn't looking right, or the spellings, like we make sure it is top quality for your business. This is reflecting you as a business after all. So once we finish making it, we can export it, and you can export it as straight to WordPress, which is great, but make sure you check it and edit it first. Put it off as a Word document, PDF if you're sending it on elsewhere. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that so far. Okay, now I want to have a play with giving it a bit more detail. So we only used the target keyword before. So let's put that in again. And this time I'm going to give it a bit more structure as to what we want it to be. So we're going to have what are the benefits of using a content writer in your business. Okay, so we've given it a title, and the goal of the content is to show the benefits of using a content writer for your business. We want it to demonstrate why you should employ or hire a content writer. Okay, so obviously for myself, I'm selling content writing services. Then this is the sort of thing that I would want on my blog that helps demonstrate why someone would want to use those services. So now we've got that and we've got those details in, we're going to start and create the document. So again, I'm going to come back because it takes a little bit of a while to generate, but it really isn't long when you consider how long it would take you to do it all yourself. So the difference with this one is that it's firstly generated an outline. So now we do the bits that we want to say, so how long it's going to be, point of view, so we want it in first person. I want those subheadings. So it's given us a bit more detail here, and we're going to generate the outline. So this is just the outline first. Okay, as it does that, you can see that it's given you some headings and suggestions that people probably have written in other blog posts, and it's pulling in information of topics that other people have used in their content. And it's given you an outline here. So you'll be able to check whether this is the kind of format you wanted, whether it's covering everything that you want it to cover. Make sure it's got all the headings and information you want. And then from the looks of it, yeah, you can add in your own topics, look at the questions that people are asking. It's giving you ideas on other titles and subheadings. The type of terms, again, this is very similar to Neuron Writer, so the sort of terms you want to include in those subheadings to help optimize it. And what it's done is, once it's got its table of contents, so your outline of your blog, it's giving you the kind of information it's going to include from the looks of it. So if you wanted to add any facts or questions or anything, yeah, what question might your reader ask? So you could always almost kind of preempt what needs to be written and ask that. So that's quite good. You can add in a bit more detail here. So I think this is actually really helpful. I know it takes a bit more time, but if you really want to make these blogs top quality, then it's worth having a look and filling in some of these, making sure you get the right information. But for here, we just want to see how it performs while it's out on its own. So I'm going to ask it to start writing. So when we do that, it gives us some information. Again, conversational, persuasive, humorous. I am going to go with inspirational. Same sort of length, first person. Let's let it be a bit more creative, but let's have it as a college graduate level. So let's see what it does. Right, I'm not even going to pause this because it seems like it is working really quickly. And it's quite interesting to see, as it's writing it, the score for the optimization building. So again, it's obviously putting in all the headers. Right, so it looks like it's written it. So let's start with the fact it's not actually given it that high a score here. So I'm wondering why that is. It might be because it's used some of these terms a bit too much, so you might have to go through and edit. The red means that they are used more times than is suggested. So that's quite interesting, because you think it would sort of do that by itself. But do you know what? Like, it's still a reasonable score. So let's have a look at the content itself. So again, the format is pretty good. The layout is good, nice the headings. I prefer to use a few more gaps. I don't like big chunky text like that. So I would tend to break it up a bit more because I think it's easier to read. Now, again, it's defaulted to US spelling. I'm not going to read every word right now, but it'd be interesting to know if some words were spelt with US. Oh, there we go. So it optimizes UK spelling, and then we've got US spelling. So that is something that SurgeGraph hasn't quite mastered. I don't think any AI has mastered it yet. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. But yeah, so it's given us a very detailed blog, highly optimized, and I know I'm not reading this thoroughly right now, but it generally reads quite well. It's in first person, which is what I asked it to do. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I have to say, pretty good. So again, we could export that one if we wanted to. And you could obviously update it as you needed to. We didn't do an AI image on there, but you could generate one if you wanted to. write in Blue Peter style. Let me know if you actually know Blue Peter in the comments. If not, this won't mean anything to you. But here's one I made earlier. This one here was similar to one we've just done. And again, I tailored the question a bit more to be around the topic I wanted, fed it some same sort of information, and it well optimized this one. So it's a shame on that one I just demonstrated with, it didn't quite hit that mark, but this was another good effort, if I'm honest. Really quite good. Like I said earlier, make sure you're checking these, because there is the odd mistake in there. It's not a lot, but there is the odd spelling error, a random 3 with no content in it. So although I know we want to automate things and make things quicker, your blog still needs an expert eye going over them. But on the whole, this is pretty good. So the last thing you probably want to know is how much SurgeGraph is going to set you back. So I think it's a pretty good tool, and it has lots of features. Obviously, I have not tested it for SEO, so the results side of it for me is still a little bit unknown, and I will test this for you and get back to you in the future. But if you do want to have a go and what you've seen really appeals so far, then basically it is $43.99 a month. And that is unlimited documents, unlimited keywords, unlimited planners, unlimited word count. Or if you wanted a slightly cheaper plan, it goes down to $14.69, dollars, for a 36-month plan. But obviously you are paying for that up front. So although it works out cheaper monthly, you paying for the bulk up front. So if that is unclear, let's just have a look here. So if you want to pay monthly, you can close at any time. You're not committed to them. It's $43.99 a month. Or if you want to save and you're happy to commit to long term and it's within your price range, then you can do the 12-month plan at $299 or the 36-month plan at $529. So there you have it. What did you think of SurgeGraph? I'd love to know. Please drop a comment below. And if you've used it, let me know what you think. So I thought, just from that mere test of completely writing a blog post for us, a long form blog post with very little input, I think it did a really great job. It read more human than some of the other AI tools that I have used, and it just made the process a lot more simple. I love the fact that it's got that neuron writer feel, so we know our content is getting well optimized, and it's just a bit easier than using ChatGPT. I mean, a lot easier. Probably going to give you pretty well optimized content. Obviously, I haven't tested whether this works long term, so that is something to test out. But I'm pretty confident, because of what I know about SEO and how to optimize blogs. It did seem to do that quite well. So I think you would get some really good results from this. So try it out and let me know what you think. Price wise, I think it's reasonable. $43.99 a month. Okay, you can get cheaper plans if you pay for the year or 18 months or 36 months, sorry, up in advance. But obviously if you prefer to go rolling and check it out first, then $43.99. Okay, it's fairly steep depending on your budget. But if you're using things like ChatGPT, you may well be paying $20 a month for that, $24, whatever it is. But for basically twice the money, I think you get a hell of a lot better content from it, and SurgeGraph is going to get you better results. So if you're not a confident blog writer, or you don't know how to use SEO optimized content, how to create it, then I think SurgeGraph would really be helpful. So check it out yourself. I'll pop a link below. I'm going to give this one a thumbs up because I think it got really great results. You do need to go through and check it though, because there were the occasional errors in there, and like every bit of AI, it really doesn't know the difference between US and UK English. So that is still a little bit frustrating, but You know, if that's all that I could fault with it, then that's pretty good. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe because I'll be doing more videos like this in the future. See you soon.